7 is the magic number. That's right. We're talking all things Sydney Marathon today and celebrating a monumental chapter in marathon history. And joining me is Team Singapore athlete, two-time SEA Games athlete, and of course, one of the hosts from Trackside Talks, Mr. Melvin Wong. Hi, Melvin.
Very, very honored to be here with you, John.
Yeah, it's like plenty for us to talk about Sydney Marathon today.
Yeah.
What do we have on the menu?
I think we have a panel of great guests and the spokespeople from the Sydney Marathon and Point 3. So I'm excited to hear about what's in store for us in 2025.
Alrighty, so without further ado, let's meet our esteemed panel. We've got Mr. James Constantine, Digital Marketing Manager from Point 3, organisers of the Sydney Marathon. I've got Monika Denkova, Marketing Executive, also from Point 3. Of course, Mr. Arthur Tong, founder of Elevate Performance Coaching, who's been a very important partner for us in Singapore for Sydney Marathon. He ran the training camp and coaching clinics for us. And of course, key opinion leader, content creator, and triathlete, Ms. Cheryl Tay, who has a very interesting story for us later on about this year's experience at the Sydney Marathon. Welcome to our show, guys. So we're going to have, this is going to be a very exciting episode that we have here at SportPlus Studios. We're going to be talking about Sydney Marathon in 2025, the journey to the majors, and of course, we've got some questions from the ground up as well for you guys. But perhaps we can start off with the first question. I think everyone's been wanting to know about this, and what's the mood like currently in Sydney after the announcement that you guys have become the 7th World Marathon Major?
Yeah, John, and thank you again for having us here today. It's an honour for Monika and I to be here in Singapore talking to you. Look, it's been an incredible response, I think, from the world. We've seen nothing but positivity from not only the other 6 majors and the other World Marathon majors, but just the global running community. I think there was a lot of questions when we started the Kansas City journey in 2022, particularly around the finisher numbers. That was very well known. We were around about 5,000. So for us to increase by 500% in terms of the marathon numbers in 2 years, I think people have seen that growth. And yes, we've made the majors, but just celebrating Sydney becoming this incredible marathon city that may not have traditionally been. It's been more than just a status of becoming a major. It's about the city of Sydney truly embracing global marathoning.
So definitely, I think you guys have done a great job, and I speak not just on behalf of myself, but I think everyone here and around the region as well. And so what's next for Sydney? I think Melvin,
so I'm just wondering, for those who have finished their 6-star quest, they are looking forward to Sydney being the 7th. But for those who haven't been on our journey to Sydney, and I'm sure there are a lot more people who are more curious about Sydney becoming a 7th World Major, perhaps I could get you to share, what makes Sydney Marathon such a compelling proposition for runners in this part of the world?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, in terms of the other 6 majors, it's very, very well documented, on social media and publications and running media, how hard it is to get in. We all know that London has 840,000 applications each year. We might get there one day, but it's not coming this year. So I think the biggest thing is the ease of access for Singapore to come to Sydney. I mean that in a few different ways. The first one, obviously, is yes, there's a general ballot that is coming up, and Monika will talk to that in a little bit, but there won't be as many applications as any of the other majors, yet it is a major. So it's the most accessible major because people have the best chance of running Sydney next year. The actual distance from Singapore to Sydney, I think apart from Tokyo, if I'm wrong, it's the shortest distance by travel. I know no one likes flying 20 hours plus to America. Yep. We love getting there, but the flight itself.
I totally agree. I say that because I just came back from a trip onto the other side of the world for New York. So I mean, I'm not really a fan of flying.
I'm with you guys. I traveled to Berlin this year, and it's a tough one. It's a tough one, especially you have to transit at a certain place, and you got to bear with that X amount of travel time compared to like one-stop direct flight from Singapore to Sydney. But I want to ask also, perhaps to Cheryl, Like you have taken part in this year's Sydney Marathon. What do you think makes Sydney such a great in their 7th World Major status?
I think, let me give some context about my race this year. So I tore my ankle ligament and I had a little chip fracture on my ankle about a week to the Sydney Marathon. So obviously the doctor's orders were no running at all. But I was very determined to run the Sydney Marathon because I had a hunch that it was going to become a major. Just kidding. But yeah, I mean, because there was the candidacy race and I was like, no matter what, I have to finish it. So I walked the Sydney Marathon for 6 hours, 46 minutes. I walked the entire thing and I feel like I know the course very well because I was on it for so long. Yeah.
She spent a lot of time on the ground.
Exactly.
She literally walked the ground.
She covered the ground.
Yeah, but I feel like Australia is a great place to go to because, like you said, direct flights. Command of language is easy. You go there, we all speak English. Food is great. Weather, that's really, really important, especially like Singapore is either rain or really, really hot. So that was a big plus as well. And also it's easy to get around, right? Like it's not like it's not like some suburb where you have to take like 10 buses to get to. So many, many great points to get there. And of course the people are very friendly.
I think Cheryl, you covered exactly the same amount of ground as Workinesh, who ran 2:21. You might have taken you did take 3 times longer than her. But I think one thing that we really want to try and do is steer very much away from the elite. Like, yes, we do have some of the best runners in the world, but we want to make sure that the 6 hour 46 runners are treated exactly the same as the 2 hour 26 runners. And we hope that you sort of felt that way on the course,
She had the best pictures, to be honest, crossing the finish line. We were all like fighting for hey, get out of my way. She had like a clean shot.
But it's true because whether you took 2 hours and 10 minutes or you took 6 hours, 46 minutes, you're still a marathoner, right? Because it's for everyone.
You got to the finish line.
Yeah, it really helped me change my perspective of running a marathon, because I think there were people that commented on my reel saying like, oh, I never thought I could walk one, so maybe I could finish one now. And I was like, there you go. Then I felt like, oh, I did something good.
It's more inclusive, right?
Yes.
I mean, especially speaking to those people who didn't think that they can, I mean, you walked it, technically, but not everyone's going to walk that fast, but...
Okay, to be fair, the pacers were amazing.
Yeah, you hung on to the pacers,
if not for
right?
them, I would have gone back at 5K where the hotel was. Like, I really contemplated it really badly. And then they caught up with me and they were so nice. And they were like, come on, let's just follow, let's go along. And they were like, 3.5 hours more to go. Okay.
So were the pacers walking or were they running?
Brisk walking.
They were brisk walking.
They had a strategy of like 4 minute, 30 seconds walk and then a 30-second shuffle.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so a shuffle is just like
So there's even a pace group that's organized for that timing.
Yes, there's even a 7 hour one.
7 hour and the sweeper as well. So the final competitor did 7 hours 20, I think, this year. So a little bit over the cutoff, but like literally the very final finisher. And yeah, his splits were over 10 minutes a kilometre. But again, he's a marathoner.
Actually, what struck me most, right, in Cheryl's case was when you posted that story of you getting out of the train station with your bag and a limp.
You guys have, if you've not seen that, you'll have to watch it.
You have to revisit that. I find that was really heartening because I know Cheryl. I mean, most of us who know Cheryl knew that she carried an injury leading to Sydney. But I think when she took on that challenge, came to Sydney and used the public transport, there were people around just helping her with getting over the gantry, from the public transport. So it speaks volume about the culture and people in Sydney and how easy for someone foreign to enter and just find your way around. So I thought that was really nice.
Yeah, because what happened was I was in a moon boot. And I rolled my luggage forward first. So I think the gantry took that as I already walked past. Then as I was going through, it went up. And then I was like, oh.
She got stuck, basically.
I got stuck. And but then everyone around was having a good laugh and they helped me out, of course.
Yeah, but speaking about public transport, I think you brought up a very good point, right? I mean, this is something that is a huge plus for Sydney. I mean, I just went to New York City Marathon it was a fantastic marathon. But getting to the start line was quite an experience. I think that itself was a marathon. We had to wait for like 3 hours. You had to take a ferry, and to the start line, and to just wait. Yeah, so whereas for Sydney, it was pretty much point to point. You just get on the train, and you're almost there. So is that something we can expect as well from next year onwards in 2025 and beyond?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what was such perfect timing this year was the opening of the metro. So a lot of runners caught basically the underground, you can call it express train, which runs right underneath Sydney Harbour. So you catch it from the CBD, the start line's at North Sydney. So you're going underneath the water, but it takes literally 3 minutes from the CBD to get to the first stop on the other side in North Sydney. So it's incredibly fast. It opened 3 weeks before the start of the race. So thank you very much, New South Wales government.
Incredible timing.
Amazing time. It couldn't have been better. And the amount of feedback, yes, a lot of it was about the updated course. Yes, a lot of it was about the finish line at the Opera House. But all these little things, that they all contribute to runner experience before the day. And again, like the anxiety levels, like how do I get to the start line? Well, it's okay. There's a direct line straight to the start line. So it is probably in that way one of the most accessible marathons in the world, major or not, now that we've got that new start line and that brand new metro system.
And people can expect pretty much the same course. Will there be any more changes?
The start line won't change. The start line, so the ease of access that people had to the start line this year, that will be the same. So your experience this year, Cheryl's experience this year, that will be the same next year for sure.
So I've got a question. I took part in Sydney Marathon in 2023. And I know that the Expo has changed. What can we expect in terms of the Expo experience in 2025?
A world major class experience, Melvin.
that is a world class answer.
we're gonna take your word for it on that.
I might let Monika actually talk about the Expo, but yeah, basically a lot more space. But yeah, Mon can talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, no, it will definitely be a major upgrade. Where I know James mentioned this before, but from this year we were, secured to Hall 7, which is one part of the ICC, and next year that will just completely double. So we had an immense amount of space, an incredible increase of store numbers as well, as opposed to 2023, and that's just going to completely increase for next year. I don't know the numbers just yet, but we're looking to showcase a lot more of our partners. We have charity opportunities to increase next year as well. But yeah, the ICC was a big part of improving that runner experience before we touch base on the marathon. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think, like Mon's saying, you get double the space, double the vendors, just double of everything, right? And again, that's kind of the direction we need to move to. I think having been to the New York Expo, one of the first things when you get to the Javits Center is oh my God, everything is bigger in New York, and it is at the marathon. We know the direction that we sort of need to move into. Now we are the number 7. So yeah, we're looking to deliver a better experience in 2023 this year, and an even better experience in 2025. I think having our incredible partners as part of the TCS Sydney Marathon presented by ASICS, TCS and ASICS have really helped enable a lot of that growth, as well as the Destination New South Wales, the New South Wales government. Those partners, those key strategic partners and commercial partners, they enable us to be able to continue to grow year on year as well.
Fantastic. I think you guys brought up a couple of great points on runners' experience and partners, because right now we've got Mr. Arthur Tong. I know for a fact that James, from our conversations we've had since last year, Sydney Marathon places a huge emphasis on the overall runner's experience, and not just at the Expo, but all the way through. For this year's Singapore's programming, we actually involved a coaching partner to help over 400 of our runners have an experience leading up to Sydney Marathon. So Arthur, can you share with us how has that experience been, and what exactly did you do in this year's partnership with us?
Yeah, so it was as a coach, you always have the privilege to help athletes prepare for a race. So it's always about the preparation journey. And I'm always a little bit biased towards Sydney because I spent 4 memorable years studying in Sydney. So I know the place and I knew that they're going to have a great time. But in order to have a good time, they need to have properly prepared. Otherwise, it's going to be quite painful during an event as challenging as a marathon. So it was very heartening to see them committing to the program. John was one of them. You joined us for us as well. So we curated track programs whereby we did a lot of speed training and strength training. I also curated endurance run program for them to understand the lead up, that progressive build up towards a marathon. You never really want to overcook yourself leading up to a race like that. And there's always that misconception you always got to be really quick. You got to be fast because on social media, you always look at the fastest runner. But I always tell them it's not about how fast you are, but more so how little you slow down. It's more about, not slowing down. And in order to discover that, you need to have the correct training to understand what your body can do and just being very realistic with that. And in the lead up to the training, you will enjoy the journey and the race itself. So I think I had the privilege to see many of the runners go through our program and finally going to Sydney and having a great time.
Yeah, and unfortunately this year you had another race already lined up on the same weekend, so
I
you
did.
couldn't join us.
It was next year?
No, this year, right?
This year,
you couldn't
yes,
join
yes.
because you had another race.
I was in Canada for an Xterra race, so I kind of picked up Xterra racing, which is quite popular in Australia.
All right, and so is it going to happen? When are we going to see you in Sydney?
2025.
You know what?
2025.
My wife and I first started dating in Sydney.
No.
Yeah, and we keep saying that, man, we should go back because the last time I was back was in 2013, so it's been over 10 years. We were there for the Ironman. But 2025 might be a challenge again.
because
Because of the baby.
Not because of the baby, but I'm racing the Canada Triathlon and the Grand Fondo, which I believe is going to be on the same day again. Because is it too early to tell the 2025 race day?
Yeah,
It's all out.
August 31st.
August 31st,
Yeah.
1st September is the race.
we're gonna drag you down one way or another. But
I
if
definitely
it's not
need to go down
2025, it's going to be 2026. So it's just going to have to
Make
pick
a day
you.
for 2026 already, Arthur.
You know what? I will prepare myself for 2026. I said it here.
Who said Paris is the city you love? Yeah, Sydney. There you go.
I've got plenty of stories. We've got Sophie as well previously on one of our shows talking about Sydney Marathon. She spent quite some time there as well, both for an internship as well as for studies. And now we've got Arthur as well and Elaine who spent some time in Sydney. I didn't know about this one. This is it's an interesting story that just came up. Yeah.
I want to switch gears a little bit. So, for those who have finished their 6 majors and got a medal, the 6-star,
Yeah.
will they expect a new medal, 7-star, at the end of Sydney Marathon if they finished it next year?
Great question.
Great question.
I'll answer this in not a convoluted way. The 6-star medal is run by the World Marathon Majors. So it's their property, right? It's their series, their property. They've got the 6-star medal. Now, they have come out to say, we are looking to work towards a 9-star medal. So it's no secret now that South Africa, Cape Town, Sanlam Cape Town Marathon, passed their first year this year, or a few weeks ago. So they are now at the same point that we were last year. They very well might become major number 8, potentially. Shanghai Marathon now is the other candidate. And apparently I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but they are extraordinary. So they are working towards this long-term goal and they've committed to only 9, but towards this 9-star medal. Now, there is a way in which you can actually create your own medal though, which is really exciting. So the majors have, they've released the 6-star display and that can now be the 7-star display. So it's actually a create your own medal sort of initiative. John, you've run Berlin.
Only
New
2.
York,
I've only had 2.
and Sydney.
Oh, and Sydney. Yeah, that's
well,
right.
Sydney next year. If you ran Sydney next year, you can now create your own 3-star medal.
Oh.
So you now have the opportunity, and again, this is going to be really relevant for a lot of Singaporean runners who haven't done the 6 or might not want to do the 6, don't have the funds to do so. They can actually create their own medal now, which is really exciting. So Sydney has, it's essentially like a coin that you can then place in your own display to create your own medal now. And there's no limitation. I think the minimum is 2, but the maximum is 7. So that is a way in which runners can now be recognised on their journey towards a 6-star medal or eventually the 9-star medal. I really like that because I don't think I'm going to be finishing the 7, 9, whatever it might be, at least within the next 10 years. And it's a way now I can sort of say, look, you know, I might want to get that one day, but there's a way in which I can like tell people these are the majors I've run and have my own star medal.
Help me understand.
Yeah.
So does that mean that you will have the runners who finish, or let's say they have finished 6, the 6 majors, and now when they finish Sydney next year, they will have 7, but there is kind of like a slot for one more coin to be added in. How does that work? How does that creating your medal?
That's a great question. So the 6-star medal itself, that won't change.
Okay.
So those majors, in terms of those 6 stars, creating that won't change. And again, I think the World Marathon majors want to make sure that those people who are on that journey, they might be up to 3, 4, 5 stars wanting to run, you know, whether it's Boston because they've run a BQ or whether it's London because they were lucky enough to get a slot into there, whatever it might be. They don't want to change that side of the program. What they're doing is creating this accessible additional initiative that recognises Sydney and in future maybe Cape Town next year or the year after, as these are just as much part of the majors as the original 6 or the original 5 plus Tokyo in 2016 or 2013, sorry. But this is something where they can be recognised and you get a star. Like no star from Sydney is any less significant than the other 6 stars. It's just a different way of recognising that. But again, that accessibility and that recognition piece of building your own medal now, regardless of whether you run 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7, I think is really cool. And when we were sort of like discussing it with them, I originally thought, oh, okay, there's no 7-star medal. And I got a little bit down. But then I was like, actually, you know what? This would apply to me. This would apply to John. This would apply, I'm sure, to hundreds of thousands of runners. Like there's over 200,000 runners that have got 2 stars. There's another 100,000 that have got 3 stars. Like they're working their way towards that 6-star, but they could be years and years away. And I feel like it's such an incredible achievement to A, run a marathon, but B, to have run major marathons. I think it's a really cool idea that there's now something that you can actually show people and say, I've run half of the majors, and that's still a really special achievement.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
There you go.
Are you excited right now to join?
I am. I'm actually very curious to see what that's going to look like next year. So yeah, definitely looking
I'm
forward.
going to ask John a question.
Yes. I'm doing the answer question now. Yes. Yes,
All
Melvin.
these ad hoc questions.
Yes.
Do you know how to sign up for Sydney Marathon next year?
That's a very good question because I was about to ask Monika a question. All right. I know for a fact that those who ran Sydney Marathon in 2022, 2023, and 2024 are part of the candidacy club. So they do get kind of like a guaranteed slot to some degree over the next 3 years. But how does the ballot work for people who didn't do those 3 years? How does I understand there's a general or there's a public ballot. How does that work?
Of course. Yeah. So as we speak, it's a very especially an exciting time for the TCS Sydney Marathon. We've just announced our major status. We have announced the date, 31st of August, and now we're on to the hot topic of how to get in. So we've obviously very much been appreciative of our candidacy club members, everyone that's run 2022, 3 and 4. We are extremely grateful for what they have helped made TCS Sydney Marathon into today. And with that being said, they have a guaranteed entry. those into 2025, I'm not sure if you may or may not know, have been officially entered into 10,000 spots for those very special members of ours.
They're all in.
They're all in.
They're all in. Anyway, selected 2020, you're in.
Yeah.
Good news.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess the next best thing is the general ballot. So everyone, international, domestic, who haven't ran in the last 3 years, this is their best chance to get in first into Sydney next year. And we have released a date. That's the 10th of December. Sydney time, that'll be 10 a.m. and I believe Singapore will be 7 a.m. So yeah, 3 hours difference. But yeah, it'll be open for 3 weeks, heaps of time for everyone to get in. Until the 30th, the ballot will close. And with what we said previously, I know Cheryl mentioned, it's more about the everyday runner, and we're, I guess, leaning more towards that with our general ballot. We're opening it up for a wider community. It's a fair opportunity for everyone to get in. You apply, there's no first in, first served basis. It's just once you get in, you're in. It's an equal chance. We don't have qualifying times for this year either, which I think is a special aspect of Sydney compared to the other majors. Yeah, we're super excited. Constantly getting questions about it. Everyone's excited for the 10th of December, and our team's been working very hard for that to come. And even for the unsuccessful applicants, it's not the end for them. We have our charity programs, we have our travel programs. For those successful, can even go into our travel programs as well through our international charity travel partners. So yeah, it's awesome. But yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I have 2 questions. One is, so do I stand a higher chance if I register on 10th of December, 7 a.m. Singapore time?
I don't think it worked that way.
Keen bean.
If they were all standing by at the mouse click, dang.
Side crash.
Oh no. Yeah. Well, look. Like I said, it's not a first in, first like best dressed situation. Absolutely not. I guess if anything, we are encouraging people to take their time, get to know the dates. As long as you're in before the 30th, you're in, and you have as an equal chance to someone that got in at 7 a.m. Singapore time, 10th of December, or 2 weeks later. You know, yeah.
And that's the thing. Like what we were saying with Cheryl before. Regardless of time, regardless of as long as you're getting in, like you've got a chance, right? You've got the best chance of running a major next year if you get in between the 10th and the 30th of December. So we want to ensure that everything that we do, yes, it's great to have like fast people like you, Melvin, but
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that.
Very stressed, you know. Yeah.
There's lots of us, people who can't run as fast. You might not be able to get those qualifying times for all the other
They're
majors.
not on at 7 a.m.
The other 99.99% of the world, like Don and I, and Cheryl, and Monika, and Arthur. Yeah. So and that's been a hallmark of really the whole candidacy and that journey. It's like there's no way that we would have got to that 25,000 figure for the TCS Sydney Marathon this year if we didn't ensure that everyone was treated fairly. And so whether that's on race day or whether it's part of a ballot or any sort of promotion competition piece that we do, equity, transparency, honesty, and all those values we hold very close to everything that we do.
Next important question. When will the ballot results be out?
It's horrid. I have no idea.
So it's just over a week after the ballot closes. So it closes 30th of December, and it'll be roughly between the dates of the 8th to the 9th of January. So that's when we'll be telling all the successful applicants that they're in.
Charge their credit cards.
Exactly. Yep.
Get ready. Let's be on
Ready.
And then also the unsuccessful, which will be immediately offering the charity and the travel programs as well. So it's not the end, but for successful, that's the date.
Will the cut-off time still be 7 hours?
Yep.
Oh.
It's one of the most inclusive
Wow. That's good,
I actually
yeah.
distinctly recall the MC or the announcer actually saying that we're going to try to get as many people across the finish line as we possibly can before the cutoff. So, and then we see stuff on the Sydney Marathon social media, some very heartwarming moments or inspiring moments of runners actually making their way across that iconic finish line as well. I mean, it's something that's I think it should be lauded actually.
Yeah, and when I was there in 2023, I was at the finish line, so I had the privilege to witness a lot of magical moments, and one of that was that I think there was the 3-hour cutoff, the 4-hour cutoff. There was just so much energy from both the crowd, the MCs, as well as the fellow runners, right? Just pushing and encouraging and just pulling people along to get over the line before that magical hour cutoff, whether it's 3 hour, 4 hour. So I really felt that was one of the magic that Sydney has to offer at the finish line, because that finish line experience, I really feel it's quite magical. So really good, and hopefully I'll be back for next year.
Well, hopefully you have to.
Oh yeah, I have to be back.
It will be. Well, I'm just going to bring us back a bit now onto a slightly different topic. We talked about runners who've not yet run Sydney, right? Who are probably balloting for the first time going in. What about runners who've actually done Sydney Marathon before, who are going for a second time, a third time? How can they make the most of their experience, their Sydney experience? Like, we're talking about busy professionals, right? I've had the privilege of an extended stay this time around this year. I headed down to Hunter Valley. Last year I went to the Blue Mountains. But what about busy professionals who may only have like 4 days in Sydney? What are some of the key highlights that, this is open to people like Arthur and Cheryl as well. I mean, Arthur spent 4 years there. Cheryl,
I saw most of my hotel rooms, so.
Yeah.
You weren't moving much.
She wasn't moving in. I'm sorry, I shall redirect the question now then to someone else. Maybe Arthur.
All about your 4 walls.
Anyone else? Anyone else who stepped out of the hotel room?
No, so maybe I'll give an interesting story.
Yeah.
Back in 2023, I have a good friend, a secondary school friend. He used to be in the what we call TAF club. So TAF is TAF, trim and fit. Meaning to say that time he was a bit more chubby lah. So but I see him over the years, right? Obviously strung a lot, took up running, exercising, etc. He is now working with. I'm sure he doesn't mind saying that he's one of the station managers at Singapore Airlines. So the funny thing in 2023 was that after he saw my post on Sydney, he dropped me a message 3 days, exactly 3 or 4 days before Sydney Marathon. He asked me, "Hey, Melvin, are you going down?" I said, "Of course I'm going down." "Okay, I'll see you there." I said, "Huh? You see me there?" "Yeah." "What happened?" "I'll tell you later." So this guy, after he actually registered Sydney full marathon about 3 or 4 days before the event. That time the registration all the way opens all the way.
Was extended.
Yeah, 2023. So my friend of mine registered 3 days before that. He was based in Perth. He took a flight down to Sydney. He ran the race in his, I remember, this Nike Freeze. Very long time ago. Those shoes, I look like they are busted already. I was on the verge of giving him a new pair of shoes. But he actually completed that in like 4 hours plus.
Whoa.
Wow.
That is absolutely amazing. I shall not name him because he may feel shy, but I just want to say that, even for him, he actually registered for this race on the back of a business meeting. He realized that there was a business meeting in Sydney, and then he knew that Sydney Marathon was happening that weekend, obviously through my sharing, and then after I say, "Okay, I'm going to sign up. I'll meet you there at the finish line." And so I did meet him there, and I was so amazed. Like, he finished the marathon. He was telling me that hopefully he can get past ahead of the 7-hour cutoff.
He did that pretty well.
He did that really
Very,
well.
very well.
Yeah. So,
Nice.
for a busy professional like my friend, sometimes it could be hard, but when things align, when there's business meetings in and around New South Wales, you can make that trip and jump in just like my friend.
That's great. I think John, you were talking about traveling around New South Wales. A lot of people know not just Sydney but Australia as, Opera House, Harbour Bridge, Bondi Beach. There's a little bit more to it than
a little
that.
bit more
And
than that.
I think it'd be also be great to hear about Arthur and Cheryl's stories as well. But it's, when I was talking before about it being very accessible by flight, it's not just about the race. It is about seeing, this beautiful part of the world called Sydney and more broadly New South Wales. And there is so much to do there. The dollar is very good for Singapore at the moment with Australia. There's incredible weather, amazing beaches, great wine. There's just so many things to do and so many different experiences that you actually can't get anywhere around the world. So yes, we love to sell the marathon, but we also we want to sell the city of Sydney and we want to sell the state of New South Wales and more broadly Australia, right? You go over to London, you're not just going to sit in your hotel room for 5 days. You're going to go around the city. You're going to go eat out, and we partner with a lot of local businesses as well. We're trying to also expand our local business program. So we had 60 businesses around Sydney with deals just for runners and spectators, not just on event day, but during the week as well. So we really want yes, the runners to come, but also the city of Sydney to embrace the runners. And all of a sudden it becomes marathon week, which is what we associate with London and New York and all these other major marathons. So it's getting there. It's obviously, a work in progress. We're still so young when it comes to that real global status, but something that we will really continue to drive. Again, Destination New South Wales provides so many incredible opportunities for us to continue to grow these local community programs and business programs. So it's definitely a pillar of the event that we want to advertise to the world, but also continue to grow at home.
Fantastic. Cheryl, any thoughts? Would you like to spend more time outside of the hotel room than on your next trip to Sydney? I'm assuming you're going to be making another trip to Sydney pretty soon.
Yeah, that's what I walked 7 hours for, so that I could get the guaranteed ballot to come back, right? It wasn't my first time in Sydney, but previous times were just quick stopover. So I definitely want to see Blue Mountain. But this time I drove 2.5 hours out to this suburb. I cannot remember what it's called, but just to carry a wombat. Yeah, it's one of the rare places in the world where you can carry a wombat.
Yeah,
because usually you just see them in the pen and you're like,
I was jealous because I was in the Hunter Valley Zoo and we could only watch it from a distance.
Correct.
we can't pick them up.
I mean, you can hug koalas and stuff, but a wombat.
You sure it was real?
Yes, it's like a giant teddy bear. So it's things like that, right? Then I'm more of an adrenaline junkie, but I obviously could not do anything this time. So definitely want to go back and do canyoning and hiking. But there's also people who want to relax, and you can go and have a glass of wine. And I'm sure you have your favorite spots in Sydney too.
I love the markets. I always like the markets. Very vibrant. In the morning, you can drop in and beautiful coffees, and you want to have 5 of them. Yeah. So
hello,
just
5.
It's a lot of coffee.
5.
Yeah. What's your favorite market in Sydney?
Oh,
The coffee market.
Is there such a thing? Coffee market?
well, I think there is a coffee. Something at around Circular Quay. I did actually walk in. I just saw a lot of coffee beans around and a lot of smells and aromas. Anyway, no, I love Chinatown. I think Chinatown and Paddy's markets, right in the heart of the CBD. For Sydney size, we already have a lot of Asian influence. Incredible Thai, Vietnamese food. A lot of incredible food there. Yes. But just almost. It is an authentic experience for us, but I know a lot of the people who come and live in Sydney, they want to start a life and a prosperous life. I feel like there's just a hub of activity, but also real positivity in these sorts of areas of Sydney. So I love going to Paddy's markets in Chinatown.
Yeah, I love Paddy's market as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff. Well, I mean, it's been a very fruitful discussion. Plenty of insights coming from our guests from Sydney as well, and Arthur and Cheryl. Thank you so much. Melvin, anything from you?
No, I'm blown away by this amount of information. The next thing to do is really to stand by.
Yeah, you're
what,
gonna get
7
ready. Put your
7
fingers
a.m.
on those on the keyboard on
10 December.
on the 10th of December.
So
do
needs
have-
to get all
I
your
do have a
questions sorted
tip.
out.
Sorry, I do have a tip. Please
Yeah.
make sure you have enough luggage space because I went back to the expo like 4 to 5 times.
Good grief.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was a problem as well. Yeah,
I hobbled my way there every day.
And 2025 will have a lot more
Exactly.
stuff.
It's going to be bigger.
ASICS will help us out.
Yeah. So please make sure you have enough. If you're taking budget airline, buy extra baggage, bring an extra bag.
Yeah.
Don't pack to the brim because you are
You'll-
going to buy lots
You'll
of
be
stuff.
going back with a lot more things than
Yes.
than when you first go in.
That's a good tip for me.
Yeah.
Or maybe I should go there and set up a stall in the expo to sell the luggages.
That's good. That's a good idea now. Hey, that's an idea, right?
We're gonna do that. Alrighty. Well, I mean, plenty more questions, I'm sure, that will come up in the days ahead. Thank you guys for joining us for today's program. And if you do have any more questions that are pertaining to Sydney Marathon 2025, whether it's about the ballot process, whether it's about what runners can expect, do leave them in comments or drop us a message, and we'll be more than happy to help you out and possibly link you guys up with the Sydney Marathon team themselves. So, yeah, if not, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you guys watch this episode from SportPlus Studios, and we will see you guys very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate your time. I really appreciate your time. Thank you. Yeah.
It's really fun.
First couple of hours, in fact, in Singapore.